Hello, everybody. It is Professor Parrish, and welcome to English 122. This is our class for the semester. I'm very excited to have you all as students. English 122 is one of my favorite subjects to teach, but I wanted to go through basically our Module 1 documents and kind of content for it, as well as our instructor page to get you guys started with this class. I do post a lot of resources, but I also like to do a lecture video each week. They're not going to be long, but that way you can kind of follow along and see things, and hopefully I can explain things in more detail, and that way if you have questions, hopefully this video will answer them, but if not, you can get a hold of me and ask any questions that you do have. So let's just go ahead and start out. This is mainly the Canvas shell for our class. You would have saw I had the little bell reading through town from Beauty and the Beast. That's one of my favorite movies from Disney. And so of course she reads a lot. So I had to do that for our GIF for this class on Canvas, which I think is appropriate because we are looking at literature for English 122. So you can kind of see a few things out to the side here. This link right here that says grades will always have your grades posted. I'll go ahead and click on it. I can see all of you all in the class, but you will only be able to see yourself. But you'll be able to see your grades throughout the week. I try to keep it updated as often as possible so you can see your grades in real time. So that's exciting. The people link here will show you people in the class. The syllabus link, we are going to look at the syllabus here in a little bit. That will show you the link to the syllabus here, as well as what's due each week. Now, right now I'm still editing, so I only have weeks 1 through 3 ready. But by the time I finish all the things in the class, you'll be able to see everything in the course all split out per week, right? There is a chat feature on here. There is an attendance feature, but don't worry about it. We'll talk about attendance. And then there is going to be like a discussion thing and stuff like that you can see as well. So let's go back to the home page here and just look at our course instructor page. The course instructor page just kind of talks about the class. I will be looking at our syllabus here shortly, but it just kind of talks about the course in general. I love teaching English 122. It is my favorite class to teach. You can find my email address, my phone number down there, as well as just education information and where my office is. I am an academic advisor on campus, so in March, we'll open up the last week of March. We'll have summer and fall registration open, so if you're needing to get registered for classes or if you need to change anything in your schedule, I'm your person to come find. And I'm over by admissions in E132. I am on campus usually Monday through Thursday. Unless we have a holiday, I'm here Mondays through Thursdays. I'm not on campus on Fridays. So if you need to get a hold of me, Monday through Thursday is the best time. I will check my email on Fridays, but I won't be answering my phone. And I'm usually on campus 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So let's go back to the homepage. I usually always go to the homepage, and I would recommend going just week by week in the course. I think that's the easiest. So let's look on here, and we're just going to pull up Module 1, right? Module 1 just talks about what to do in the course this week. Make sure to read your syllabus, which we're going to go through. Make sure to read in your literature textbook the reading a story chapter and run through it. Look at the resources link. There's a reading quiz to take and a discussion forum, which we'll talk about here soon. But let's go ahead and just pull up this syllabus and run through it. I've got a presentation that I'm going to spend more time with, but if you look at the syllabus on here, obviously it's going to talk about like my office hours are Monday through Thursday. I say by appointment because since I'm an advisor on campus, I often have appointment with students. So if you just show up, I might be meeting with a student at that time. If you're okay with just hanging out and waiting till I'm done, that would be fine. But if you're like on a time schedule and you need to be somewhere, then I would email me and set up an appointment if you need to talk to me face to face. But I answer my email all throughout the day. So if you email me with a question, I will get back to you, especially Monday through Thursdays. As far as the course goes, you can look through the objectives of what we're going to do here in the class. Basically, this is an extension of English 121. So in English 121, you talked about compare and contrast, informative, argumentative papers, maybe narration. This is going to take what you've learned and how to structure those papers and apply it to analyzing literature. Literature being short stories, poetry, and plays, which I think is a lot of fun because you have so many options of what you can read and explore, and you have so many options of what you can find that you're interested in. If you're not interested in poetry, we don't spend a lot of time on poetry, so you can focus on other things that you like. If you do like poetry, we will get to explore it. So that's going to be a fun time. This class, I've kind of restructured it this year. It's a little bit different than in the past. If you've had Miss Billman's English 121, then you'll probably see a lot of things are going to be slightly similar in structure, just to try to make all of our English classes a little bit more streamlined. So you'll notice that all of the assignments are on here. Please make note that technically between weeks 8 and 9, March 6th through the 12th is our spring break. There won't be any assignments that week. We'll have our midterm and all that fun stuff, but then you won't have any assignments for that week. And then it extends on into our finals week, which will be May 8th through the 12th. Our textbook is essential. You will need this textbook. It is listed here by Kennedy, Giola, Donna, and Stone. It is Literature, an Introduction to Fiction, Poetry, and Drama. It is required. You can rent it for free in the bookstore here at SIC. So make sure to go to the bookstore. They're open 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. Make sure you get this textbook because you will need it. As far as the grades in the class go, it's out of 1,000 points, which seem like a lot, but they're pretty balanced throughout the semester, so it's important to try to get as much done as possible and completed for the class. The way that we determine the grade is your papers. There are 3 short papers that are worth 100 points each. There is a research paper that's worth a lot, but we are going to be working on it throughout the semester. So it's not going to be like one giant thing due at the end. You're going to be splitting it into 3 parts and working on it throughout the semester. So it won't be so daunting when you get done with it at the end of the semester. We'll have exams, and then we'll do some free writing and quizzes as well. So that's pretty much how the class is sorted out. I'm going to kind of give you guys an analysis, but that is the rest of the syllabus. Please make note that we do have a mental health service and wellness room. It's right by the bookstore. It's awesome. It looks really cool. I want to hang out in there. But it's not for instructors. It is for students only. It is available. They have resources, snacks, and other materials. It's open 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday in B108. And Brittany Warren is our mental health service counselor. So if you have anything going on, or if you just need somebody to talk to or work something out, that's what she got her degree in. That's what she's here for. She is here on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays to talk with students. So please don't hesitate. Even if you're just having a stressful day, you need to decompress. Go see Brittany. She's awesome, super nice, and she has a really cool room that I wish I had. So that is the guide here. We'll talk about the discussion and the reading of story quizzes and everything like that. But I do have some resources here that I want to talk about with you all. The first here, and I'm just going to run through these. Again, most of our lecture videos will not be very long, but this one's our very first one, so there's a lot to go over. As far as getting started, this is kind of, let me see on here if I can make this look a little bit, it's really, really big. So let me download it here and show you all. But this is our PowerPoint just talking about getting started in the class. You guys can all download this as well and see. Hopefully it will look a little bit better when you pull it up. This is like just blown up here and I'm not exactly sure why, but here we go. Look at this. So yeah. So basically, about me, I have to put Doctor Who on there because I love Doctor Who and David Tennant is a great actor. So my name is Rachel Parrish. You can call me Ms. Parrish, Professor Parrish, Rachel. Just try to spell my last name right. Everybody misspells it all the time, and it's okay. I do have a corgi, Huckleberry. He may bark sometimes in the lecture videos, so you'll have to excuse him because he's a corgi. He can't help it. I collect coffee mugs, and if you ever come to my office, you will see that it is slowly converting to being primarily coffee mugs and corgi-related things. Over the last several years I've been here, it's just slowly become that, and I've just learned to accept it. I grew up on a farm, like Luke Skywalker, and I've always been driven by storytelling. My parents and stuff, we have a big background in agriculture, but storytelling and looking at stories has always been something that interested me, and it's why I wanted to teach it, because I love it. So what would be more fun than sharing that love with other people? And like I said, this is my very favorite class to teach. I love it because it's analyzing literature. It's something, there's something for everyone in this class, and that's kind of what I love about it, is that we see what all we like best as we go through. You can see there that the one down below is when I graduated from SIC way back in the day. I graduated from SIC way back then. I did Phi Theta Kappa and all that fun stuff, hence the yellow garb there. And then the picture up top is when I got my master's degree in English from Illinois State. So just several years after that. So fun times. But yeah, basically what I believe is that you deserve the respect that you deserve and your voice to be heard. I think that just because you're here at SIC does not mean anything different, because we all start from somewhere. I chose to come here to start my education. I'm so glad that I did. It was a great place to start, and it's led me to become the educator that I am. That being said, never take organization and time management for granted. Back then when I was at SIC and ISU, I thought I was so busy. I was like, I'm the busiest person in the world. And now I'm like, oh girl, you had lots of time. So I definitely agree that we are in a much faster paced, busier society than we were back when I was in college. My college experience is likely different than yours, and everyone's college experience is different. But I will say that as fast paced as we are, try not to procrastinate. That can be your biggest detriment in the class like this. Online classes are great because they are convenient. You don't have to drive out here and come physically to campus, but they are more demanding in that they require you to be on top of time management. And that can be hard for some people. So definitely make sure you have a planner. Make sure that you map out all the assignments due each week, not only for my class, but for others that you have, and just make sure that you can figure out, when can I do this? If you have kids, do you need to do it at night or early in the morning before they get up? You have to figure out what schedule works best for you. And intelligence grows and changes over time. I took that from Ms. Billman directly, and I totally agree with her that, yeah, things I thought back 5 or 6 years ago teaching, I definitely have changed now and expanded upon or altered in different ways. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't be afraid to change your mind, change your opinions about things, even as we go through this class. If you need to communicate with me, like I said, that's my email address. Please allow at least a business day to respond. I only say that about weekends, because usually if it's during the week, I can get back to you pretty quick. But on holidays and weekends, I don't check my work email. I will try to get on Sundays to make sure there's no dire emergencies, but I usually don't check outside of the weekdays, Monday through Thursday. So I am an advisor here, so I'm on campus Monday through Thursday, unless it's a holiday. And like I said, you can find this info also on your syllabus. What you're doing in this class, you're writing 3 short essays that are 3 to 5 pages each. And then there's a longer essay that's a research paper, but we split it into sections. So even though it says that it's 8 to 10 pages, it's going to be split up into different parts. So you're not doing it all at once, right? We are doing a discussion forum each week, and then you're doing a 10-point quiz most weeks. Not every week, but most weeks. And then you'll have a final and a midterm. As long as you have your textbook, you'll be fine on the final and midterm, to be honest. And we'll have PowerPoints and stuff along the way. You do need to know, you'll know what's due because it's on the syllabus for the entire semester. There'll be weekly assignments that will be included in the module guide. And then your class schedule has a weekly assignments that will match as well. Here's what the textbook looks like. It's a new textbook that we just got a few years ago. I really like it. It's pretty nice. You can access to a computer. You'll need this textbook, access to a computer, and you'll have to have internet to take this class. If you don't think you have access to a computer, I will say some people try to do this class on their phones alone. That's not going to work. There are some features that the mobile devices can't access through our website. And plus you'll need to type out papers and things like that. You just need access to a computer. That does not mean that you need your own computer, but it does mean you either need to go to a library, come to campus, find a computer if a friend or family member has one that you can use. Obviously, I don't want people to go out and spend money if they can't, but if you're going to take this class online, you've got to have access to a computer at some point and have internet to turn things in. Attendance. Oh, that old chestnut. So basically, my only stickler is that, and we'll talk about it below, is that I don't do late assignments. I don't want things to snowball, because that's typically what tends to happen, is that people will neglect an assignment and be like, oh, let me catch up. And then while they're catching up with the assignment they should have already turned in, they won't be doing the assignment for this current week, and it just spirals out of control. It's very easy for that to happen. So I don't do that. It's just you do the work for this week, Whatever you don't get done, doesn't get done, and then you move on to the next week. And the main thing is don't neglect your papers because they are worth a lot of points. If you miss a discussion post, the discussions are not worth a crazy amount. You can miss a discussion and be fine. You just don't want to make a habit out of it, right? But it's not going to kill you, right? If you miss a quiz, it's not going to be the end of the world. But your papers are extremely important, and I don't want you to get in a habit of missing the quizzes or discussions. But if you miss one or two, it's not going to make or break your grade, right? There are excused absences. So if you have a family emergency, a military conflict, a school-sponsored activity or illness, you can tell me about it, and we can go on a case-by-case basis with that. Communication is extremely important. My second master's is in communications, so I treat it very seriously. I don't know all of your schedules or what's going on because it's an online class. I never see you face to face. So it's extremely important that if you have things going on, you need to let me know and we can go from there. Technology issues are not an excuse. It's 2023. At this point, if you don't have a computer, you need to have a backup plan. If your computer, I've had the tried and true excuse on a Sunday night. My computer's dead. Can I turn it in tomorrow? No. That's going to be the answer because I'm going to be like, you know, if your computer is getting low on battery, you can see that battery bar when you turn it on. Or if you don't, you should pay attention to that. That's part of the college lifestyle, is knowing your technology, especially if you're doing online classes. So saying your computer died is not an excuse. If you spilled milk on your laptop, don't drink milk by your laptop. But my main thing is have a plan B, because yes, technology issues can happen, but you need to be able to work through them. Now, the only exception to that is, and I'm with you all, I'm in Southern Illinois, I'm rural. If there is a power outage or something like that, I will take that into account. But I am able to find out if there's an actual power outage or not. I had a student one semester that was like, oh, El Dorado, we were out without power. I looked it up. They weren't. So I was like, well, you lied to me, so that's okay. But just make sure that technology issues are not an excuse. Make sure to have a backup. Make sure to get your work turned in on time. If you fail to submit any work at all for a week, I'll let you know through Starfish. But if you have 2 weeks where you've submitted nothing, I'm going to drop you or withdraw you from the class. That's just my policy. If you've not done anything for 2 weeks straight, you're out, because you're not going to be able to catch up at that point. Like I said, unless we deal with some significant individual assistance or emergency. I am the ADA coordinator on campus. That's part of my job as the academic advisor. So if you have any ADA accommodations, you can email me and let me know, and I can tell you like what your options are, things like that. Starfish, if you're not familiar with Starfish, those are just to alert you if there's attendance concerns, missing lake work, things like that. I care about you and I want to help you if you're having problems. So if you get a Starfish, it's not me trying to nag at you, it's me trying to figure out what's up and how can we make it better. But like I said, I don't accept late work. So procrastination is not your friend in this class. Assignments are all due on Sundays. But don't wait until Sunday. That's the biggest pet peeve, is that a lot of students, they'll wait till that last day to turn everything in, and then you're rushed. And what happens if your family calls and wants to get together on Sunday? What happens if you get called to work on Sunday when you weren't expected to? You know, lots of things can happen at the last minute and be emergencies. So the last thing you want to do is stress yourself out even more waiting until the last minute. The deadlines are there just in case, if you have no choice, but don't leave it to chance that you have to rely on that Sunday deadline. Try to turn things in early if you can, and then you don't have to worry about it. Then you can be like, okay, I'm done. Sunday's off. I'm great. And then you don't have to like think anything about it. I do make a goal to return each essay in time for you to review it and make changes before the next essay. That's usually a week or two within grading time. Discussion forums and quizzes, I try to grade as soon as possible to get back to you, and you can always check on Canvas to see your grade. Be respectful of others. This is something that I just put on here, but it should be obvious. It's okay to disagree. Just don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. Be nice. Be considerate. If you need tutoring assistance, Joanna Lane, she's a former English teacher. She is awesome, and she is able to read your papers and look at them before you turn them in and offer you feedback, which is an invaluable resource. So her phone number is on there, as well as her email. Definitely email her your papers, your drafts. Let her know. and just kind of give her a heads up that you want her to check out your paper before you turn it in. And yes, there is writing in this class. It's an English course. Welcome to the world of writing. For me, I love writing. I would rather write an essay than take a test any day of the week. But it is a writing course. The state requires this much writing for the class, but you made it through English 121. And I've taught this class for almost 10 years. You can do this. I've had so many students start this class off being like, I don't think I can do it. And they do. They get an A and they're like, okay, yeah, I can. So don't stress yourself out. I have total faith. After teaching this class for so long and having a variety of students from all different majors, I know that you can do it. So as far as advice for success, these are just things that students have talked to in the past on student evaluations and things like that. Check your email, not just Canvas, but check your Falcon Mail. If you don't have Falcon Mail set up, go to the Learning Commons and get it set up. Because if I email the class, it's probably going to go through either Canvas or your Falcon Mail, not a personal email. Make sure to communicate with your instructor if you have any questions or concerns. Plan ahead. Do your paper throughout the week. Don't wait till the night before. My brother and I are polar opposites. And when I was at Illinois State, after I left here, I would ask him, I'd be like, hey, I'm not going to write your paper for you, but I'll proofread it if you want me to. And he'd be like, well, I kind of need to write it first. And I'd be like, you haven't even wrote it? What? It's due tomorrow. And he's like, So he procrastinated, and his papers were never that good. They were always like C papers because he did them at the last minute. And so just make sure to keep track of that. And then my goal is to not make you a lover of literature, but an appreciator of literature. I've had lots of students be like, oh, I don't like poetry. And by the end of it, I'm like, well, maybe you don't like it, but do you at least understand or respect it? And they're like, yeah. And that's all I ask, right? So there is that. As far as any other presentations, I know this has been a long video, but as far as other presentations, the only ones I will add for week 1 are there is our notes. How to use a discussion forum. So if we look on our lecture notes, you can kind of see that. This is going to break down that first chapter and kind of show you some key terminology and things to keep in mind as you are reading this section. So just things to note about why study literature. Well, because I like this stuff and it helps you to hear other people out, consider new ideas, develop empathy, feel the feels, as you'd say. So I just want you to go through this presentation. It'll give you some notes. There's some key terminology here that is gonna be on your exams that you might want to pay attention to. But if you have questions about it, this video is really long, so far longer than I would like. So in future weeks, I will go through the presentations. But for this week, it's all pretty simple. This is just some terminology to like walk through, right? I will say this. I do like this part here on the last slide where it says that you may, I know a lot of times English classes are like, be prepared to read things more than once. Yeah, a lot of times we don't have time to do that. So the main thing is read it well the first time and get what you need out of it and you can move on. That's kind of the big thing. I'm not really a one that supports that whole, oh, read it 3 or 4 times to understand. I'm like, when does anyone have time to do that? So my main thing is if you read it well the first time, take the notes you need, you won't have to go through it several times after that unless you really want to, right? And then this quotation here about education, I really like. It's at its best when we use it to help children feel another person's pain or joy, and education teaches us and our children how to love well. Yeah, makes us better people, right? So going back over here, how to use the discussion forum. We're going to talk about that here just in a second. This is just mainly a really short little presentation to give you an idea about the discussion forum. Nothing crazy, of course, but English instructors are picky. I did have a student once ask why I took off for spelling and grammar, and I was like, well, it's an English class. So my goal here at the discussion forums is that we learn about talking about things, and it's to explore ideas, connect with the material and our own experiences, and give opportunities to present and support the opinions of what we think about them. Since we're not physically in class, this is kind of in lieu of that, right? But mainly, the assignment for the discussions is you'll have one post where you will answer the questions and then you'll reply to 2 classmates, and you're just going to keep the conversation going, give examples, and ask questions. Now, obviously, you need to be respectful, apply some effort and critical thought in your posts and responses. You don't have to agree. You can disagree. You can be informal, lighthearted. You can make mistakes. That's okay. And you can just have, you can put in relevant photos or videos if you want to emphasize your points. You don't have to have the right answer. A lot of things about literature are ambiguous and they are left to audience interpretation. There is no right answer for a lot of things, which I think frustrates some people because it's kind of like how the English side of your brain differs from the math side. The math side of your brain says, here is the calculated correct answer. Literature is like, it could be that, but also I'm definitely on this side of the brain. Math side of the brain, I'm like, what? So it does frustrate some people because some questions don't have a solid, concrete answer. And that's okay. And some people are like, not okay with that. But it's something we'll work on this semester. Ideas can be different. Opinions can happen. Anytime you're able to see something in a new way, that's a good thing. But what we don't want is a response like this. I completely agree with everything you said. Have a great week. That's too vague. There's nothing to think about with that. And how do I know you even read their post? That's a big thing. How do you even know? How do I know as an instructor that you even read what they wrote? That comment right there just says you copied and pasted it for 2 people and pieced out. So that wouldn't work as a response, right? Don't be disrespectful. Don't have any obscene things, or don't do anything that would violate like the ethics standards. You guys can download this and see all of it, but don't be posting anything that's not appropriate for college. So I don't reply to many posts, but I am always reading them and I do see what you say. But if you see something that might be a problem, please bring it to my attention. I don't accept credit for late posts. I'll still read them, but I won't give you credit after the week closes, right? As far as grading goes, these are only worth 5 points. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but they do add up. Just be sure that you answer 2 students and submit at least 1 post by Sunday. If you miss a post or 2, you can see kind of how the grading breaks down with those. And obviously, if you don't submit anything, you don't get any points. So that's all on that one. But yeah, so the only things to do this week is we have our very first discussion forum. You can see on here, it's very, very simple. It's just introducing yourself. Where are you from? What's your story? What's your plan after this? What's something that we may not know about you? Just straightforward icebreaker stuff for this week. Nothing crazy, right? So that's our discussion post. And then the reading a story quiz here is going to be worth 10 points. Now you'll know on here, you only get 1 attempt. So you get 1 chance to do it. There is no time limit though. So once you start, you can just take your time with it. There's no time limit. You just take it and then answer it and then go. It is all multiple choice. So that should be fine. These quizzes are going to be multiple choice or true and false. So it should be crazy writing or stuff. They should be pretty simple to take, right? But that's what you're going to do for these questions here. And that should be it. So that is our class in a nutshell. I didn't anticipate this video being this long, and our lecture videos won't be this long in the future, but we did have a lot to go over this very first week of class. But I have gone ahead and opened up week 2, which you can go ahead and work on it if you get done. I won't post a lecture video for it until maybe a little later. And then week 3, you'll notice, will not open until January 15th. I'll try to open at least 1 week ahead. So if you want to work ahead a week, you can. But I don't want to open up too much at once because then I don't want people getting confused of when everything is due. So you'll at least have a week open ahead of time, right? But in any case, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week with English 122. Bye.